fun live broadcast. If you're new to me, my given name is Timothy Waterman. I do like to go by my nickname though, which is Bo, and so that's why you see it in the description down there. I'm joined yet again with a friend, but also what I refer to be a colleague by the name of Rhonda Ryder, just because we're both in the same industry of personal growth and just realizing how good life can be and that true change starts from within. So we're both in that industry of personal growth and expansion and just feeling better more often. So that's why I reference Rhonda as a colleague. So welcome, Rhonda. Thanks again for being here with me today.
Thank you for inviting me. I just realized I forgot to plug in my really spiffy microphone. You can hear me okay?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
sounds good. Sounds good.
good.
Um, and thank you. I see people have joined us live. So thank you for being here with us live. Just know that there is a chat, so we can see the comments essentially. So if you leave a comment, we'll be able to see it. So if you have a question as we're sharing, please feel free to type a question. We do our best to get to as many of them as we can. While we're also following the flow, we do our best to work in the comments and any questions as well. So just know that that is there, and thank you again for being here with us. Even if you're on the replay, ahas, comments, are still welcome because it's always fun to see just what people have to share in response to, the information that we're putting out there. And if you are watching live or if you're on the replay, just know that the first line in the description of this video that you see is actually the title. And so the title being that what this conversation is about is the feel good freedom that we found through intuitive eating. And so we're going to expand on what intuitive eating means for us and just what it's meant to our life experience, because that's the whole point. Like, we're just excited to share about a lot of the freedom that we found and the simplicity. And I put in the description just that, I mean, I know I definitely feel this way. I feel like, because I've spoken to Rhonda a number of times, we've had quite a few conversations now, just all around like body and the relationship with food and whatnot. And so I kind of feel like Rhonda might feel like this too. I know for me, for sure, like, oh my gosh, I just got to a point where there was like so much noise. It's like every 3 weeks, there's this new diet plan, this new hype, new things going on the shelves, like eat this way, do this, don't do that. But then there's other, ways of eating that completely oppose that. And they're like, no, don't do any of those things. Those are toxic. And and just so much noise. And I just got to a point where I was just like, oh my gosh, like I just need simple. I just need straightforward. I want to have a good relationship with food and my body. And so that's when I really found my own way to intuitive eating, which is listening to the voice within, that innate wisdom that lives in the body, and just recognizing that the body is intelligent. It has universal intelligence communicating through it. And it was when I slowed down, paused, and learned how to hear that intelligence and work with it that things did become simple and better and felt a lot more freedom, a lot less overwhelm. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to jump on and share today. How about you, Rhonda? Why does this subject excite you?
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to say that there is a book, Intuitive Eating. This is the workbook, and it is by Evelyn Triboli and Elise Reich, and then the book, of course, and we are using the terminology intuitive eating, but these ladies did invent it, I guess you might say. But what we're talking about is based more on spirituality, metaphysics, listening to our bodies. But I do like their stuff. Um, and the only piece that was missing for me was the spiritual aspect. And it might be in there, but it's just mentioned very, very, like maybe a sentence or two. So for me, intuitive eating is more about my spiritual path and learning how to listen to my body over the years. It's just gotten better and better and better in terms of my relationship with food, my relationship with my body. So it's an unfolding, and we've said this before. It's not like you get there, you arrive, and you're done. It's really, it just keeps on unfolding and getting better. Like right now, where I'm at is I've never been here before. As far as I can remember or tell, I've never been in this particular space with my relationship with food. And as I look back, it's like one thing led to another. So I just really love where I'm at right now. It's so delicious. It's because I really used to think that once an addict, always an addict. And I was a food addict in my mind, obsessed about my body, obsessed about food. And I'm like, I don't feel that way anymore. So that's really interesting for me. Like um I'm in that place. I'm like, oh, so maybe not once an addict, always an addict, you know, talking to alcohol, whatever. I mean, I was a binge eater, serious binge eater, addicted to food, in my opinion. And I don't feel that way anymore. I just love, like, was this really happening? Like, am I bitching myself? Like, and more weight is melting off, which I'm not even trying. I'm just focusing on loving my body. Actually, I'm really focused on uh, treating my body well. Like when I think I shared this story with you last time, I went to see this nutritionist, or not a nutritionist, naturopath, and he took my blood and we looked at it on the computer screen, and some of the cells were malnourished, like the light. I said, "What's that light in the center of these red blood cells?" And he said, "Oh, those are malnourished cells." And I know everything's an illusion. That's what I believe anyway. So I don't, I could recreate that, but to be something else. But oh, oh, like I felt like I had this really interesting experience where it's like I love those cells, like I really was loving those cells. I'm like, so leaving that appointment, like something changed in me, and I was like, I want to feed them yummy food and nutritious stuff. And anyway, that's what that was another experience that kind of put me on. And like I found this guy in a newspaper. I mean, who finds people in newspapers anymore? But actually my husband found him, and he was guided to go to him, and then I was guided. So it's like this stuff is when you start listening to your intuition, right? Um, you just enter this path that's just full of all of these wonderful surprises and delights. I think in my experience.
Mhm. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I love, yeah, yeah, it's a fun way to see it, is that just, what's on the screen of our life, what we're looking at is like this holographic game that has feedback. And so I love that you saw the feedback of the malnourished cells and you took that as like, oh, I have an opportunity. The way it came across to me was, oh, I have an opportunity to like take better care, like to love these cells more. And because these cells represent you and your body, it was like, oh, I want to like be better to me overall, is kind of what was coming through to me. So I love that that's how you chose to frame that feedback, was like, rather than making it a problem, like to me it feels like you made it an opportunity of like, oh, like I can be even better to me, I can love my cells. And you know uh, reflect that sense of love in action, like take even better care of me. So I love that that's
Yes.
the way that you chose to see that and respond to it. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I just realized that I mentioned the weights melting off, and it's not even I don't particularly go at it as a weight loss. Like I love to help women and men learn how to love their bodies and make peace with food. Um, so I don't like go at it from a weight loss point of view, but I often say that that is a side effect. It can be a side effect if there's something you want. But I don't like to feed into that the diet culture thing that we need to be a certain size. This is just my personal experience, and it's been over many years. So just that I wasn't even trying from that aspect of when I saw my cells on this computer screen. Like I wasn't trying to reframe anything. It was just like this natural thing that rose up, like so much love in my heart for each one of those cells. It was really interesting, and that changed me. Like I came home and I'm like, I'm doing. It's so easy, like to drink this green drink I'm drinking every day. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna drink all of that because that's so full of yummy, good stuff for my cells, and so it's really about what works for you and what you're guided to. Because intuition, the word intuition, it's about what is speaking to you and your own individual unique experience on this journey. And I really do believe, and I'd like to hear your feelings on this, is that this whole thing, like whether it's alcoholism, food addiction, whatever it is, it's not for nothing. Like it's it's actually there to help us access who we are and remember who we are, who we really are. So I used to think of it as such a big, like, why me? Why did this happen to me? Why did I get this obsession with food? And it's like, oh, this is really here to help me.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's yeah, I love that perspective, and yeah, I will comment on that and respond to it. I did just want to mention real quick because we had talked about this before. Just wanted to invite everyone who, if you followed Rhonda's or my work at all, and you like what we have to say, I did just want to make a quick invite just to watch until the end because we do have an exciting offer to share. Each one of us have something exciting to share with uh, viewers of this broadcast. So just wanted to mention real quick that we do have something that we're excited to share. So please feel free to watch till the end to see what it is that we have to offer. I just wanted to share that before we got too much further in, so people
Mhm.
know that there is something exciting that we have to share. And then also just for reference, like if you've never seen Rhonda before, like she is the host of the Delicious Alignment podcast, which I love. I personally am always checking to see who you're interviewing, who she's interviewing, what she's talking about. She's also the author of a book. And do you want to show us your book real quick, just so people can?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh
it's right
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a delicious alignment: how 25 women learn to love and transform their bodies using Abraham Hicks and the law of attraction. And it's my 5 steps to loving your body and making peace with food. And also, there's a free course with about 20 videos based on part one of the book. And you could get that for free. It's at deliciousalignment.com/free course.
Yeah, and you'll find both Rhonda's website and my website, or at least my. It's kind of like a link tree. I have my link tree posted in the description of this video, and then also Rhonda's website. So it's a great starting point to learn about Rhonda's podcast, her free course, her alignment coaching. Like it's kind of like once you're on the main website, I know I've seen Rhonda's website many times, so I know you can kind of go whichever way you want to go, whether it's looking at the course, the book, the podcast. I know it's all on there, so you can find the starting point to Rhonda's world, which I like to tune into myself in the description. So just want to make
Thank
sure people knew
you.
that. And if you're new to me, I'm a life transformation guide. I'm also a conscious channel. So if you know anything about like Abraham Hicks, Bashar, people like that, I pretty much do the same thing through my unique channel and vessel. So that's what the conscious channeling is. But then I'm also a life transformation guide. So that's where I work with people on an ongoing basis who really want to create significant change in their inner world. First and foremost, starting with the relationship they're having with themselves, because to me, that is ground zero. That's where everything begins. That's where all of our behavior, choices, attitudes come from, is that relationship we're creating uh, and giving attention to in our inner world. So I start there with people, help them have a better inside experience with themselves. And then again, we start to talk about how that affects their choices, their behaviors in their outer world and their real life life experiences, whether it's personal, career, because that relationship with self pours out into all areas of life. So, so I
Mm-hmm.
like to work with people on an ongoing basis to help them have not only a better inward experience, but then also show how they can more powerfully have a better outward experience too, based on how they're showing up in their outside life experiences. So that's just a little bit about what I do. And again, you can find essentially my link tree link. It's called a snip feed link, but it's like the same thing as a link tree. It's in the description. So just wanted to also just share with people a little bit about who we are and what we do, what we offer. Uh, and hello, Amanda. Thank you. Oh, and hi, Melinda. Thank you so much for being here and for your support. Good to hear. Good to have you here live. And yeah, feel free to comment, ask questions, post ahas, whatever. Yeah, whatever feels right in the moment. Happy to
Yeah.
have you here.
Hi, Amanda. Hi, Melinda. Yeah. Thanks.
And then yeah, I just wanted to respond to. We just took a little kind of like segue there, but I just wanted to respond to what you had asked me earlier, Rhonda, and it was just about seeing things as happening for us. So whatever, if we're calling it an addiction to food or something else, what you essentially offered was that you feel like it was happening for you and it was an opportunity, and you kind of asked me if I felt the same. And yeah, for sure, for sure. And real quick, it's just really fun. It's just really fun to because as Rhonda mentioned, both Rhonda and I are very much into the field of metaphysics, which is understanding energy, how the universe works, and how everything starts from within, and how everything starts from within. And it's really cool just to watch the synchronicities that show up, but also to watch how, because Ron and I have been studying metaphysics for a long time, so it's all kind of just ordinary everyday language for us. And there's still a lot of people that might hear something we say and they might be like, what are they talking about? Because metaphysics isn't essentially everywhere yet. I mean, it's very accessible, but it's not so much, it's not really taught in school. It's like not, I mean, you can maybe access some of it in like college and university, but it's usually done more through like the context of like religion. And but metaphysics is just like this, it's just kind of looking at energy, and now even like science is catching up to how the
Mm-hmm.
universe works in terms of energy with like quantum physics and things like that. And so anyways, like Tarana and I, it's like all kind of like every day, this is just how we
This
interpret
is
our
our
world.
world. This is,
Yeah.
we live it, we eat it, we breathe it. And I just want to give a quick shout out to CJ. Hey.
Yes, hi CJ, thanks for being here.
Yeah.
And just know you're welcome to share ahas or comments or questions. Like we're open to all of it. um, and so yeah, it's kind of like normal every day for us, and we do see the synchronicities as Rhonda was talking about, like with finding the expert that she went to about learning more about her cells and things like that. And the newspaper ad, she mentioned earlier how first her husband found this expert, and then she went to him and she found out more, and it's changed her relationship that she's having with her body. So these kinds of synchronicities are very normal to us, and it's just super fun for me to see how this way of experiencing life is getting out there. And so I just want to like throw in
Yeah.
a quick synchronicity because recently it's just shown up naturally in my world. I've watched a couple films that have Timothy Chalamet in them, a really well-known actor at this point. And because, he's been in a couple of big films in the past, like even 6 months or so. And I saw this interview clip. It was actually a short on YouTube. And it was someone asking him about his role in Dune Part 2. And in Doom Part 2, he has like this big kind of like destiny that's in front of him in the film. And so the interview had said, like, well, this film kind of really points at like, like destiny and things like that. Like, and they said, Timothy, how do you feel? And it was really interesting because he goes, good question. And he goes, and this is what he said, like, I think it's almost word for word, like pretty close to what he said. You can be the master of your soul, the captain of your ship, but you have to realize that life is coming from you, not at you. And that can take time.
And he's so young to be knowing that already. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah, isn't that yeah, I can line up with that. And it's so funny you said that because I just started watching that movie. Uh,
Oh, really?
but it's a very long movie, so just watch it in chunks. But
Yeah.
yeah, life is coming from you. And I do see that now. I do believe that. Um, but, looking at it from an intuitive eating perspective, like relating it to that, yeah, it's like I always resented having I labeled myself as a binge eater. I mean, I wouldn't really talk about it and tell anyone in my 20s, 30s. I mean, I went to Overeaters Anonymous and things like that, and that's where I talked about it. But there's so much shame around it, and I really never thought that I would look at it as a gift, or I don't know if I look at it so much as a gift now, but I look at it like it's there for me. Yeah, I really feel that it helped me to get back to who I really am, source one with everything. And it's just going back to that age old question, you know, are do you want to keep living like you're not God? Or do you want to embrace the fact that you are? If you don't like the word God, use a different word, but um, just remembering like the truth of who we really are, and that wow, this really helped me get there. Like, well, whatever is happening, you don't have to understand it. Um, it doesn't have to always make sense, but just this feeling like everything's happening for me. That's not something that everyone can align with or believe, but that's where, yes, I'm we are dwelling in that kind of like, yeah, I'm creating this. I'm the creator of all of this. And it's but let's talk about intuitive eating. And to give, how some things that can maybe help people with that.
Yeah.
How does that work for you on a daily basis? Like
Yeah.
when you wake up, what's your process? What do you eat for breakfast? Do you eat breakfast? How do you choose what you're going to eat? Like that.
Yeah. No, thank you for that. And I love what you were just talking about because it is a good segue. Like, where we were coming from was kind of like a door, like, even though it felt like a lot, like you were talking about, you saw how food addiction was happening for you. Eventually, you saw it was happening for you. And yeah, like my overwhelm with food and different things, like for a while, I felt very gluten intolerant, and just because I was seeing certain, I guess, experiences that came when I ate certain foods, and so like, I had things like that which were shaping my world, and
And
yeah,
you
like
were
I can
anorexic.
now,
For people that don't know, you had a bout with anorexia, so the
yeah,
opposite end of the spectrum.
yeah,
Like, I'm like binge eating, you were anorexic. So just to share with people, I think it's helpful for people to know
yeah,
that your previous history with food
yeah,
relationship.
yeah. No, that was in my teenage years. Yeah, teenage years. There was anorexia from like 14 to 17. So yeah, that was about me needing to feel in control. It was like a coping mechanism. And that I felt like I could feel in control with like calories and stuff. So
Yeah, we did
that
talk
was my
about that. It's the last live,
yeah.
but
And then
anyway.
my in my 30s, I would say like early to mid 30s, I started to develop some orthorexia, which is basically trying to follow so many nutritional rules. Like, again, like all these, is it alkaline? Is it high vibrancy food? Is it
or
clean? Is it
organic.
local? Is it is it made in like a gluten-free facility? There's all these things. And so orthorexia essentially is like having all of these food pressures where it feels like you almost can't find the right thing to make for dinner. Um, so it's different than anorexia. It's not about trying to
Mm-hmm.
control necessarily. It's about like so many rules that you feel like you don't even know what even fits all the rules anymore. So that's kind of what led me to having the way you're sharing about you having a better experience with food now, and you can look back on all of your prior life experiences and say, oh, that was happening for me. Like I can see that for me too. Because the orthorexia to me was giving my power away to food, being like the food's more powerful than my consciousness and how I speak about and think about my reality. I was basically saying like that dish of food over there has more power than than my thoughts and how I,
Yeah.
talk about my reality. And so
Can I
yeah, I can
just say
see it
something
as,
about that?
oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like when I was writing my book and I was researching, everything that Abraham Hicks has to say about food, and I was realizing, oh my gosh, like your vibration trumps your the nutritional value, which just still blows my mind. Still blows my mind because I'm like, really? Is that really? But I'm like, so your vibration is more important. To your point, what you're talking about, like orthorexia is like telling you so you're preoccupied with, it's just another addiction in my mind, or
Yeah,
preoccupation with another way that it expresses itself in just knowing that, oh my gosh, how I feel while I'm eating the food is even more, that is like the most important thing. Like, so I could be eating a cupcake full of sugar, which, if I do choose to eat a cupcake, by the way, I'm gonna align with that choice. Um, but if I eat that cupcake from a place of like a really high vibration and then just like bless the food, like you talked about, and I've been doing that since I've been talking to you about that, and just like, oh, just I'm in a high vibe and just like align with this choice with this cupcake. But if I'm in a really low vibration and I'm eating the healthiest salad in the world, like that nutrition from that salad is not gonna do what it would have done if I was in a higher vibration. So your vibration is actually the most important thing when it comes to food.
yeah,
It just blows my mind. So
yeah. No, the state of being, yeah, like so, like state of consciousness or state of being. Sorry, I have a little something that's making my eye water, so I'm just trying to make sure I can see it clearly. Um, yeah, no, like the state of being, the state of consciousness, and that's been a big part of it. To keep tying it back to intuitive eating is recognizing how I'm feeling about a certain food choice, but then also what I really feel impacts the experience, the relationship with food is the story, like all the old stories, and that to me really the way I see it, it dictates the level of consciousness that I'm in when I'm interacting with food or contemplating a choice. So, I used to have all these old stories, and we talked about this in our last live about like, fear about food, like all these fears about food, because told all these things that like are terrible in the food and blah 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 blah, and that was a part of it. Is like I had a lot of fears and just
Mhm.
like strong concerns. And so like when I was engaging with food, before, like in years before, it wasn't really about me listening inward and like, hearing my own body's intelligence. And to me, there's no question that the body has this really cool universal intelligence, animating all of it. Because there's like, I used to work in both holistic wellness and the biohacking field, and while I was in those careers, I learned that the body has, any given human body can have like anywhere from 50 to 100 trillion cells in any given moment. And it's like if all those cells know exactly how to do what they need to do to hold this whole thing together, you know, and the blood knows where to go, and the heart knows how to beat,
Mhm.
and the neurons know it, like, if all these things just know what to do, to me, there's no question that the body is intelligent. So, but I wasn't listening to that in those prior years. I was listening to
Mhm.
all the stories I had been told about food, and the stories would lead me into like fear, or I can't have that because, or, that's going to be bad for me because. And so all those stories would just cause me to give my power away to the food, be avoidant of the food, say, I can't have that because. And it was all those stories that really just made my relationship with food feel very complicated and overwhelming, and, just filled with lots of
Mhm.
pressure. But yeah, to your point, and again, this is where you and I have landed. It's like we're not like telling anyone else what they should or need to do. We're just sharing genuinely where we've landed on the subject and what's helped us create freedom. And it's what you were talking about, is just recognizing that, you and I both feel that our state of consciousness, our vibration in the moment, is actually the most important thing, is actually the most powerful thing. And so what that did for us, because you were just talking about it before, I'm just kind of sharing it again in my own words. What that did for us is that we stopped looking at the dish and saying that's more powerful than me. We started saying, how do I feel? Is it a vibrational yes? And is an intuitive yes. And if it is, like, I'm going to, like you said, we can bless it. We can, we can basically say like, this is going to be good for me. Like, we're careful about our language, we're careful about our thoughts, our stories about it. Like, hey, this is an intuitive yes. Like, I've tuned into the subtle intelligence of my body. It's like a heck yes in this moment. And so that's what shifted for me, is that like, if I'm in a situation, a gathering where there's lots of food, I'm not really looking at things so much from like all of those nutritional rules that orthorexia used to have. I'm more so like, does this speak to me on that subtle level? Does my body feel drawn to it? Does it feel really good in my body and my cells? Am I excited to eat it? Is it going to be enjoyable? Am I going to choose that it's going to be a really like satisfying, rich experience for me? That's personally like how I approach my choices
So,
now.
are you saying that you actually run through those questions in your mind? I'm just curious. Like, so a few minutes ago, I asked you, say you wake up, what do you do? I'd like, maybe we
Yeah,
could both share
yeah,
a day in our lives, like
yeah,
how we're, because I think those nitty gritty, those little details can help people to know, yes, but how do I eat? Because
yeah,
I can't tell you how many times I've been working with someone and talking about this kind of thing, and they're just so used to having a diet to follow, and it's been so long since they were intuitively eating
yeah,
that they have no reference. They have, there, it's like a deer in headlights. I don't know how to do that, Rhonda. Tell me what to do. I don't know how to intuitive eat. I'm
yeah,
not, I've been, for 30 years I've been following, one diet or another telling me what to eat. So I have lost the ability, which you really haven't.
Yeah.
You never lose it. It's just getting refamiliarized with it.
Yeah.
We talked before, like restoring that childlike relationship with food. So, can you tell me, because I'm curious, other people might be curious.
Yeah.
You wake up in the morning, because I don't know if you're like consciously asking yourself those questions. Going, that's a lot of questions, but some level, you are right. You are like, okay, what feeling into it, and it becomes just second nature. Becomes just like, okay.
Yeah.
So she'll tell me, when you wake up in the morning, what do you do for breakfast?
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, it's just as simple as I just listen. Like I'm very aware of my body, so it's as simple as like, am I actually hungry or not?
Right.
And because to me, there's again a lot of these like conditioned systems, like you always eat breakfast, like you always eat 3 meals, and I don't tune into any of that. I just like I wake up and I'm like, am I hungry? Like
Hmm.
I tune in. Hydration is very important, so I typically always hydrate pretty much right away. So like I do like a warm beverage, like a cacao or a tea. Even with that, I'm like most mornings I like a cacao, like latte. Um, but some mornings I'll just like I'll tune in and be like, no, actually, I really don't want that today. It's like maybe just like a tea is what's speaking to me today. So like that's to the importance of I don't get caught up in routines. Like just because I really like cacao and I have it most mornings doesn't mean I have it every morning because I always tune in. And there are some days where I just like I go like, am I feeling like a cacao this morning? And it's just like, oh no, 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 no. Like something is just a no about it. And so then I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, then what is it then? And I'll, maybe it's a tea. Sometimes it's just warm water with some like Himalayan salt in there. So yeah, the questions that you spoke about, like they are my second nature now. Like the questions that I was referencing before, that is my second nature. So I just know how to energetically interact with the choices I feel in to my vibration or my inner knowing. And
Hmm.
so if I'm not hungry, I'm just like, okay, well, I'll wait until I'm hungry. And then who knows what time that'll be. Like this morning, it was like that. And I don't think I had breakfast till like 11 a.m. Like all of a sudden, I've spent years practicing tuning into my body. So all of a sudden, like I was like, oh, now I'm actually hungry. So I'm not acting from routine. I'm acting from actual, like a call from my
Yeah.
body. Um, so yeah, it's just like that practice of listening, like slowing down, pausing, breathing, really centering in the moment, and just really, to me, it's just feeling into things. You could say, is it asking a question? Sure, but I just feel into things, like
Hmm.
So most mornings, like, do I feel like a cacao this morning? I always ask, and most of the time it's like, yeah, that feels good today. Other times it's like, nope. So
Exactly.
it's the listening. It's the asking, the feeling, the listening. That's the most important part.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Me too. Same. Same. Because I'll be, I'll think, oh, I really should have some protein in the morning, because that's some of the things that I've been reading and hearing, and it's like I don't feel like it. I don't even feel like, I'm not even hungry, so I'm not going to force. And then other times, I'm not hungry, but there's an apple pie there. There's an apple pie there. Like the other day, Memorial Day, we're typically off gluten for the most part, like my husband and I. But and that's because it just doesn't agree with me. So, but he bought an apple pie and ice cream, and part of me, like a quarter part of me, like was freaking out, like serious, like, oh my gosh, why did he do that? I I told him we don't need a dessert. Like we don't. He's like, well, it's a holiday, and so to have something sweet. It would be nice to have something. We need something sweet, or need something dessert. And I said, no, we don't. No, we don't. We don't need. We don't need it. And I was a little bit, my voice was like, "What?" And but it was different, right, than years ago where, oh my gosh, it's there. I have to eat it, like the whole thing or half of it, or nobody even got to have any, because by the next, he bought it the day before. So then all kinds of stuff like that. And then all the shame. So, I was, okay, it's here. He bought it. His intentions were sweet. Were well, sweet. I pun, no pun intended. His intentions were really, really good. Like he wanted everyone to have a nice time. He wanted to have dessert, and so then, I had some pie. I had some ice cream. I didn't even enjoy the ice cream that much, which was weird. So it's just watching things change. Like, do I even want this? And it's like I wasn't even hungry. I had some ice cream. I was like, good. And that is, to me, that's like a miracle to me, because I would usually in the past just be, oh, it's in there. It's in the like I'm up here. I'm upstairs in this room usually, and I'm thinking about the ice cream that's in the freezer, and go sneak in, eat some more. Like I was a closet sneaky eater. Um, and so just, I just love the evolution of this and how, I don't know, I'm in this place where I just love intuitive eating and how where it keeps taking me, and how the story you were talking about, stories can
Yeah.
change. You can change your stories about how you see yourself, and but just to be patient with yourself, because it can happen over time in its own way. Let it unfold. Like, one of the things I do is I see myself, see myself as I would like to be, like see my body as I'd like it to be. Because now it's like aging things. Like, oh, well, that's new. Oh, that's new. I never saw that before. My body or my skin looks different. Like, what is happening? And so, and still loving your body, with whatever you're noticing or you like or you don't like, and like accepting. So yeah, the relationship with food can change. That's my main message. Anybody listening that's struggling with their relationship with food, either binge eating or wanting to lose weight or wanting to gain weight, like, to just be patient. And I believe everything's happening in our imagination first. So, like, I see myself now, oh wow, now that I've gotten to this place, wow, now what else can I create? Like, I want to tone up and get more muscle. That's a desire that I have. And so I visualize, what do I want to look like, and then visualize it as if it's already done. I think that's one of the biggest secrets, is seeing it as if it's already done. Um, and then just going about your day. Just take like a few minutes of visualizing. We have a visualization on my website too. If you go to delicioussalami.com/resources, there's a couple of visualizations there for your body. But, like, oh wow, because I'm doing improv now, and I'm on stage, and part of me is like, these people are much younger than me, and I want to, like, it's inspiring me to 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 work out, to have fun with it,
Yeah.
if it feels good. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I want to, uh, you know, keep up with these young people.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, yeah, and that's the I love that you're finding all of that, and I mean, it's just an example of how you continue to listen to yourself and what's speaking to you, what's inspiring you in your outer world, and how it's helping you tune into more of your desires. Like, I love all of that. Just again demonstrates really attuned listening inward.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, that's the main thing I wanted to share too is that, yeah, the relationship with food just isn't stressful anymore. It's just, it used to be a source of stress, it used to be a source of
Hmm.
overwhelm, and it's just not and anymore. And it hasn't been that way for a while. And it really comes back to, again, like me not giving my power away to it, me not caring what the 10,000 diets in the world are talking about. It's like I was able
Yeah.
to let all of that go and just really tune in and tune in throughout the day, and every day is different. Like, I don't have any routines that I follow. I don't have any programs that I follow. I mean, in general, I do personally prefer organic food just because I like what it stands for. I like that, I like the way it's grown. I like the way it's looked at. I feel like it's respectful to the planet and therefore respectful to me and my body. So, like, that's like the one general thing that I like too. I like most of the time I am eating organic. Like, I will have, something at a birthday party that's like not probably organic, like a sweet thing. And I just choose again to enjoy that in that moment. If it is an intuitive yes for me, like, I'll just say, like, okay, cool. Like, I'm excited about having this. I don't make up any of those stories about how it's bad for me or anything. I just say, this is food. This is an aspect of creation, just like me. Like, as you
Mm.
said, I'm going to set the intention that I'm going to, you know, bless these food cells and choose that they're good for me. And I just don't go into a story anymore. Like, I used to have, the old me would have had fears about, like, what is this going to do to my body? And it's those stories that then we mentioned this a little bit in the last one. To me, it's all those stories of how it's bad or blah, 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 blah that start to evoke, dense, heavy, what's sometimes referred to as negative emotion in the moment. Because this is something I've learned about the nervous system. The nervous system is always looking for threats, like in the moment. That's just part of what it does. And so it takes a scary story as a threat. Like, it's always looking for our interpretation of our reality. And so, even like the interpretation of this dessert, if I start to interpret it as like, yeah, I want to have it, but it's bad for me and it's going to do all this damage and blah, 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 blah. Those are stories that in the moment that, like, to me, just understanding how my nervous system works is, and start to pick up that dessert as a threat. And then, because this thing is a threat, now in the moment, my body's going to start releasing hormones and chemicals that, feel like there's a threat in my environment. That was what felt like, looking back, I feel that's what was actually doing more damage than anything else,
Mhm. Mhm.
was the
For sure.
stories and the beliefs that I had in the moment about saying this is bad, this is going to do bad things to me.
Mhm.
um, that's where I found so much freedom, is like just recognizing that I don't have to tell those stories in the moment. And in truth, again, like in my day to day, like, I am someone that wants to, like you said, I want to take good care of myself. So I am going towards higher quality food, like food that is,
Mhm.
that has like the organic labels. So I know it's grown better. So when I have like the brownie at the birthday party, that is outside my norm. And so, like, I don't go into those old stories. I don't make it like a dramatic or even a traumatic thing, because once those stress chemicals are releasing, it almost becomes like a traumatic thing.
Well,
I just don't do that anymore.
I mean, when I saw that apple pie, I tell you, it's not like I'm totally there. It's still evolving. But
Yeah.
when I saw that apple pie, I had a freak out moment, and I was just like, "Oh, why did he do this?" You know, where we spent so much money going to this guy, getting all these supplements, taking these drops to get rid of candida and all this other, stuff. Yeah, like, oh my God, there's mold in my body. It's like, and why, I almost yelled at him. And so I did. I can't say that I'm there. 100%. But I could see the freedom, I could see the progress. So you want, like, for people that are still, like I said, struggling with it, just be gentle with yourself. Just know
Yeah.
this is a process. It's not about being perfect.
Yeah.
And I love where you are and where I am. It's like, yeah, I'm interested in organic food. I'm interested in these high-end things, these products, these amazing nutritional things. But it was a process. It was a journey getting here, and it happened naturally. It's not anything that we're trying to force. Like,
Yeah.
uh, this guy told me to eat this and take these supplements and do this. It felt right. It felt good, and it felt easy. I'm interested in what's easy.
Mhm.
And dieting for me was, would always backfire and have the opposite effect. It would cause me to feel restricted, and then I would go the other way and just say
Yeah.
screw it and just eat, the whole bag of cookies or whatever in the past. So for me, that didn't work. For somebody else, it might work. Still, there, it might be helpful. Like,
Yeah.
you go out finding what works for you. Like, Bo's talking about what works for him. Like, for me, same thing. I wake up in the morning and I'm listening to my body. What, even before I get out of bed, it's like, what are you wanting? You know, what are you feeling? I'm like, I don't know. I think I got to go downstairs and see what I'm feeling like I want to eat. And sometimes, like, I just don't even want anything yet. And then sometimes I'm like ravenous, hungry, right? Give me a big breakfast. So I love uh, calibrations. I do that in my work where I calibrate people, meaning, helping you rise up to better feeling emotion. It could be on this topic, it could be on any topic. And I get calibrations, I get coaching just to help, mate, to help uh, manage, if you will, my emotional state, my vibration, because that's the most important thing. Because it's for me, it was emotional eating. It was wanting to escape and not feel my emotions. So I turned to food, just to a way to not feel my emotions. And so, I've learned I have tools now to deal with my emotions. If something, if I get upset or something happens, or, how do I deal with those emotions now? So I'll actually allow myself to feel them. If I can, I love the work of Abraham Hicks. I just pivot to a different subject, but sometimes that doesn't work. So that emotion wants to be felt. It wants to be seen. It wants to be heard. And so I'll go within. I might reach out and get a calibration from my coach, or so whatever you can do. I feel like a lot of it is, with anything, alcoholism, drugs. It's like escapism, in my opinion. My dad is an alcoholic, and he's been sober for living with us for 8 years, and which is amazing. I've never seen him as happy as he is now in my whole life. And but I knew even back then when I was a young girl that it was very obvious it was all about escapism and not being able to deal with the emotions. And so I had to learn how to handle these emotions. So many emotions, right? Somebody looks at me the wrong way. I have an emotion. I have a reaction, and I find myself in front of the refrigerator, just eating before I'm not even conscious that I'm doing it. We're just sitting in front of the TV for hours and hours, just eating and eating. Past behavior, just deal. That's how I'm dealing with my emotions. Let's not deal with them. Let's just stuff them down. So I think that's a big part of it as well. And so that you can begin to, you can't even hear your intuition. Like, I couldn't even hear my intuition because, I wasn't. I wasn't present to my emotions. I didn't want to feel them. I was afraid of them. I had no skills, no muscle memory on how to deal with these feelings. So I think that's a big part of it. Like just jumping into dieting and this or taking some, weight loss drugs, which again, we had a whole thing on that. I had a whole you and I had a whole podcast episode on, if hey, if your intuition is guiding you to that, to taking weight loss drugs, like there's no right or wrong. You know, just for me, I want to that I wasn't guided to that, right? I was guided to all this other stuff of uh, learning how to feel my emotions, and it's just been a process over years and years of getting better and better at it. Just like the
Yeah.
the fast, like they say, get rich quick thing. Get that. It's great if it happens fast. Like right now, things are happening fast, but I think it's because I'm so in tune with myself, and I'm more
Yeah.
peaceful now.
Yeah. Well, everything you were just talking about with the emotions, to me, that's a part of it, is the strengthening to know which is the voice of the intuition and which is like an unconscious impulse or an avoidance, reaction. To me, that's definitely a part of it because, in past years, and that's what you and I both do, is we walk the path of better knowing ourselves, better knowing the workings of our internal world so that we can get to know ourselves in a way where, like, where is this coming from? Like, what is the motivating energy or even belief or thought behind this behavior? Like, we've been doing the work for so long that we can tune in and kind of like, huh, where is this coming from? And that's just, to me, that is a part of the path, is as you get to know yourself and you start to tune inward and get more curious, learn how to listen, learn how to assess more of like your inner world, instead of like letting all these outside voices pressure, like, cause pressure like 24/7. It's, it kind of, what I found is like it's a releasing from all of the outside pressure and be like, let me get to really
Hmm.
see what it's like to have a relationship with that innate intuitive wisdom again. And yeah, like you said, baby steps, like it's not an overnight thing. It's like, let me
Hmm.
try this way of listening today and see how it goes. And it's like it's building new muscles or like strengthening. Same thing with working out. Like, um, I can share this because I stopped a lot of my heavy exercising. I used to do a lot of weight training for many, many, many years, and I just wasn't feeling it so much anymore. And so I kind of relaxed, and a lot of my muscles like have lost definition, uh, as compared to what they used to be. It's the same thing with intuition. If you ask me, if you just haven't been listening, it's like that muscle, that ability to listen. Because I feel like the intuition is there, but the ability to tune in and listen, I feel like, is the muscle. And if we're not used to using that muscle of like, let me actually tune in, because to me it is very subtle, it is very simple. It's not like loud like the thoughts in the mind can be. But if we're not used to using that muscle of listening and tuning in, it can kind of become atrophied, if you will. And so, yeah, it really is like, let's if there's a certain practice I'm going to try today, let's see how today goes. Let's see how I do. Let's see what results I get. Because, it's the results, the feedback that we get, to me, are always kind of helping us take the next step when we see how a certain set of like actions or behaviors or thoughts go. And so, yeah, it's not an overnight. It is like that, really, like, I'm going to tune in a little bit more today, see how the listening goes, and see how the results begin to shift. Because yeah, like, in years past, I had like the avoidant tendency as well. It wasn't coming from me like pausing, tuning in, and listening. It was coming from, at times, like, I don't want to feel that emotion. So yeah, like, what's in the food cabinet that that can help me
Mhm.
like avoid this emotion. And
Mhm.
that came though from, again, like the tuning in, the deciphering, the knowing. Now it's easy for me to go like, oh, this is an avoidance thing. I can easily say, oh, this is an avoidance thing, as opposed to like a genuine, like my body is saying like, give me this, like this is going to be really good for me. I just know the difference. But as you said, it's a path, it's a journey to be able to really
Mhm.
energetically be discerning and know the difference. And like you said, like patience is incredibly important because it's going to look different for everyone. And yeah, it's just a day by, just like you said, getting back into shape, which I'm now also doing. Like I had my phase of like kind of letting it go for a while, but now I also am feeling excited about getting toned up again as well. And yeah, it's like it literally the change, the significant noticeable change happens over weeks and months. Like weeks and months is when you
Mhm.
start to go like, oh, okay. Like, and I feel like it's the same thing with, yeah, with tuning into intuition.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. You never lose it. Even if you haven't been practicing it, you never lose it. It's always there. And
Yeah.
I think we should get into that special offer we have. But I just want to say, yeah, like sometimes people haven't tuned in, for years and years and years, and with one calibration coaching session, they're like, oh my God, I'm feeling calm. I haven't felt calm. I haven't felt this way. So you just want to start practicing that, but you can do it even if you haven't done it in years. You can do it right now. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah. 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 Well, I feel what we have brought forth has been really powerful from each of our own experiences, just sharing what the journeys look like for us. And so, yeah, just to kind of expand the conversation a little bit. So, we were talking specifically, obviously, about our relationship with food and this broadcast. And to kind of like expand outward, we both actually are intuitive coaches. We help people transform their lives primarily by getting better at listening to themselves. So, not just on one subject, but I should say, not just one subject, all subjects. We help people get better at listening to themselves, their own innate wisdom on all subjects, because, you know, life does have a lot of subjects, has a lot of variety. And to me, that innate wisdom is there to guide us on all of it. And again, as Rhonda was saying, sometimes our ability to hear that innate wisdom on whatever decision, choice, relationship, opportunity is in front of us, we may not feel that strong of a connection to it because we're just not used to listening to it. We maybe are listening to voices and
Hmm.
pressures outside of us, like societal conditioning, all these things. So, Rhonda and I do both specialize in helping people tune into themselves again and strengthen that relationship again on
Hmm.
all subjects. And so, we both actually are offering to viewers or listeners of this broadcast 5 sessions, and they're not just like a giveaway. They're
Each
sessions with a purpose. What's
five
that?
session, five
Yeah,
free sessions with you, five free
yeah,
session. So 5 people
yeah,
for both 5 people, but there's a
yeah,
caveat to that. Yeah,
yeah,
you'll explain it.
yeah. So each one of us is offering 5 sessions, and it's not just a giveaway. They're sessions for people who are ready, people who are just like, yeah, I'm calling in significant change in my life. I'm ready to explore like an ongoing coaching relationship. So it's not just about a one and done. These sessions just aren't like a one and done, like kind of show up, get your coaching, and then like bye. They're more like,
It would be
I'm
nice if
really
it worked that way, wouldn't it? One and done. Yeah.
yeah. They're more about like if you felt a connection with either of us and like you really see the value of ongoing coaching and what it could mean for your life, if you're someone that's like, yeah, like I'm at least willing to explore what it might be like to have this type of support on an ongoing basis, like that's what the sessions are for. And again, like Rhonda has 5 available with her. I have 5 available with me. But they are for people who again are just really considering like inviting in an ongoing like coaching relationship, and it'll be different. The duration, the amount of sessions, all of that will be unique to the person. But that's what they're for. They're an exploration of like, could this be a fit? Like, could this be a fit with Bo? Could this be a fit with Rhonda? To see what it's like and to see if it's something that you're ready for. So that's the that's the idea behind the offers.
Yeah.
And yeah, for people who are ready and really considering, would you benefit from a guide and ongoing guidance that's going to help you essentially get better at listening to you, because
Hmm.
that's the end game, is like, how good are you at listening to you?
Hmm.
Anything you want to
Hmm.
add to that, Rhonda?
Yeah, I think you said it all. So, yeah, for me, I predominantly do calibrations and coaching. So I specialize in this topic of learning how to love your body and make peace with food. However, we wind up talking about all kinds of things because, relationships, money, because everything's all kind of related. So, yeah, it's
Yeah.
sort of like seeing if we're fit. And, you could just like comment that you're interested, or you could message me or email me if you have my email address. Just message me on Facebook. If we're not friends, I think you could still message us. Yeah, and or if you have a question about that. So for me, it's a 60-minute session or a little bit longer for the first session, and I'll send you a couple of videos first so you could see what a calibration is like and see if that's what you want to do. That's my favorite thing to do because I feel like it shifts energy. It's really powerful, and people are usually at the end just like, oh my gosh, wow, just feeling all the amazing feelings and having these insights. And but it's like, not like Timothy said, it's not a one session is wonderful. It's like building that momentum, and so, but it's not an obligation. There's no obligation. So if you just want to see if either one of us are a fit, try it out, and see if it resonates with you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's important that you said that. Yeah, not an obligation. It's just, again, it's like, could this be a fit? So it's not like a high pressure situation. We just wanted to communicate it is they're designed, they're being offered to people who really are at least considering, like if ongoing support would be a good fit
Yeah.
for them. Uh, but that doesn't mean there's an obligation. Same thing on my end. Yeah, if you are interested. So it's like, we're each offering 5 in our own kind of like worlds, and first come, first serve. So if you're interested in, potentially, if you're interested in seeing what a session is like with me, yeah, send a direct message. If you want to leave a comment on the live, feel free. You can access my email through my snip feed link, which is in the description. So whichever way feels best, but it is, on a first come, first serve basis. So like, once the 5 have been spoken for, they're spoken for. Uh, on my end, I'm gonna make this offer good for 2 weeks from today. So that puts us, let's see, like roughly, let me see if I can get an exact date here. So 2 weeks from today is the 12th of June. So yeah, if you see this before midnight Eastern time on June 12th, and you're curious, reach out. I'll let you know where things stand. But that's how long I'm going to make mine available for. How about you, Rhonda?
Well, I'll do the same. Let's make it easy.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Yeah. So 2 weeks from today, June 12th. Yeah. So reach out. There's a few different ways, whether you're feeling like you want to explore with Rhonda or myself. So yeah, that's what
Or
we
both,
have.
I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah, there is that option too. Like, yeah, I know people that are working with several different kinds of coaches all at once. Um, I've had different kinds of support all at the same time. So yeah,
I
it could
do
be a,
now. I do. I have.
yeah,
Yeah. That one. I have. I have I would say two coaches right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so it could be a both and situation.
Yeah.
So, we won't leave that out of the mix. Yeah, so that's what's on offer, and again, if you have any questions, both of our links you can access both of our links in the description of this video. If it's not a right fit for you, and you just know someone who's looking, feel free to pass the information on, because again, it's a first come, first served basis, so yeah, if you know someone else who's looking, you feel like it could be a good fit, feel free to pass on the information in the episode if they wanna watch this.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, again, my course is right now free. Uh, Love Your Body course. So deliciousalignment.com/free course,
Mm.
which that I love that course because it's just watching the videos and listening. It's like a meditation. It's like a visualization. So, and I picked out
Mhm.
all the images myself and all the little videos. It was it was a big project, but it was fun.
Aw, that's
Mhm.
awesome. Yeah, and, again, you can find that through, either the link that Rhonda just spoke or again, like, her main link is in the description of the video, so yeah, I feel like we definitely spoke to the topic that we wanted to speak today, at least put out some, big notes on our experience. Anything you would like to leave as imparting words, Rhonda?
Yeah, I just think, mainly I love to instill hope in people that are dealing with any body shame or frustration. There's a there's just it's my passion. It's my passion to instill that hope and let you know that there is a light, at the end of the tunnel. There is a way. There are ways, and it is so much to do with listening to your intuition and beginning that to get even better and better, incrementally, just over time. Things can really get better and better for you because I know it. I know it. I've experienced it myself. And so I just want to, share it with people. So that's it, really.
Mm.
Thank you, Timothy, for organizing this.
Yeah, no problem, and yeah, thank you for being here, and thank you for those imparting words, and yeah, I would say it's the same for me, is that over time, I mean, where I am today, how simple things feel for me today are a direct result of me being able to tune in and listen and really having strengthened that intuitive muscle. Again, in this episode, we were talking about relationship with food. However, like I've strengthened this muscle in all areas of my life, like relationships and career stuff, and even the whole exercise thing. Me letting that go for a while was an intuitive, just like wasn't feeling a super big connection to it, and now it is just feeling better again. So like it's all been a result of me strengthening that ability to hear my intuition and then follow what it has to offer. That's where I find the gold and the magic, is actually following what it has to offer, because it is coming from that really wise, all-knowing, universal intelligence. And so I just find that things work out better when I listen. I actually act in accordance with it. And yeah, that's been the main ingredient, and things just feeling better. And yeah, where I am today on this subject, and but again on most subjects, is like 7 years ago. Oh my gosh, I can't even, like, just all the overwhelm, all of the thoughts, all of the stories. Yeah, 7 years later, I'm like, holy cow, I have come a long way.
Hmm.
And so, just to kind of line up with what Rhonda said, is that in my experience as well, it has gotten a lot better. It continues to get better. So yeah, just want to line up that, yeah, I do also feel that based on my experience, I've just seen that it can get a whole lot better. And it's like I'm also never done.
Hmm.
There's always room for even better, and
Hmm.
it's fun to see what
Yes.
that looks like. So
Yes. And I love talking to you, because if anybody's feeling guided to sign up for one of those free sessions with you, I mean, that's why I said yes to this series with you, because I just love talking to you. You have such a soothing, calming effect on
Oh,
me, um, and you really walk the talk. You really live this stuff, and I know you're an amazing coach. So the space that you provide for people, and just listening to them, you really that's the key, right? Is being a good listener and holding space for people. So I really get that from you.
oh, thank you. I wasn't expecting that, and thank you. Uh, yeah, really appreciate that, and I'm receiving that. And
Mm.
yeah, just thank you for being a guest. I'll just real quick say just the thing I really appreciate, I think most about about having conversations with you is just uh, what's the best way to say it? Like, I feel like you just, mm, sorry, I'm just letting the words come to me. Like, I know that you are, you're on your journey and you're on your path, and I feel like, and this isn't to be judgmental or anything, is that I feel like you're always on your path for your true north, like getting to better and better and better. And you just don't have any fear about speaking about the reality of things along the way. Whereas I feel like one trap can be on like this path of like, just like let's say raising your vibration. Sometimes there can be a lot of bypassing where it's like people really aren't being honest about their experience. They're kind of just like, no, no, they're just kind of like pushing all the way, like some of the challenges and some of the learning curves. And I feel
Hmm.
like what I love is that like you are on your path of growth and expansion, but you don't pretend the learning curves aren't there. Like you're just like, hey, there's learning curves and I'm learning
Yeah,
and I'm dealing with real things. Like I guess it's your realness that you're always growing and expanding, but you're not like pushing away the process, if that makes sense. And
yeah. Not
I
pretending
really,
like it's all perfect.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'm an open book in a lot of ways. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
thank you
Yeah.
for your realness about your
Hmm.
journey. I love it.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So thank you for tuning in. It's been really fun. And yeah, even if you're on the replay, please feel free to leave a comment or a aha. You know the ways to reach out if our individual offers speak to you. So, but yeah, just thank you either way, whether you were here live or on the replay. And yeah, this episode is shareable in a lot of ways. So if you feel inspired to share, please feel free to do so. And if you want to follow up with Rhonda or I, you have a number of ways, including the links in the description or like a
And the
direct
free
message on Facebook.
sessions, five,
Yeah,
five for Timothy's giving away 5, and I'm giving away 5 to people who would like to try out a session with us,
yeah,
and who are interested in coaching, but would like to possibly interested, but would like to try it out first. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So yeah, thank you so much, and I hope to see you all on a future broadcast. Until then, much love and be well.
Thank you.